Welcome to Speed Scene Live, the #1 online drag racing TV show and the only show dedicated to the sportsman racer. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFoat.com. With your hosts, Diana-Mite, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, Alex the Cargirl Rosio, Hot Rod Bob Beck, plus Dar Hawthorne and Donnie Couch.
Oh yeah, it's another Tuesday night. I'm Diana-Mite, and welcome to Speed Scene Live. We've got Scott Lucky Hudson here.
Good to go, Diana-Mite.
And of course, Bob Beck.
Washing the window.
Washing the window, yes.
That's my Mr. Miyagi.
No, he's rubbing Vaseline on the camera screen is what he's doing.
Oh, see, I
Just stare in the window.
Yeah. And of course, we've got Bruce Barker back there handling all the controls. So if anything goes wrong, you guys know who to blame.
I'm ever so pleased.
But if anything goes right, we can blame Bruce as well.
Is it his fault?
Hey, tonight we're going to talk about our Project 406 motor build with Paul Williams Specialties. We will install this pan right here, a hamburger oil pan, and we'll also get ready to install these Racetech pistons. Paul Williams can build a great, dependable motor for you too. Visit his site at pwspecialties.com or call him at 661-864-1632.
Well, that's looking really substantial. Look at the rods you've got on that.
It's rocking, baby.
Yeah, this has got some good stuff in it.
Man, I know as well Bridget Davis, NMCA racer. She's going to be talking about her Mustang. It's one hot red rockin' Mustang. Her riding career with many of the top websites, racing the NMRA. That's all coming up in just a few minutes with Bridget.
And next week, we're going to have Donnie and Dar. They're going to be live in studio doing the March Meet warm-up show for the Good Vibrations Motorsports. You know that they're going to have some cool guests and some cool call-ins, and we're going to hear all kinds of inside info about the upcoming March Meet race at Bakersfield. It's a night of nitro. Hey, be there or be square.
Oh, those guys, they pour it on and light it up, and there we go.
Man, they always put on a good show. They have a lot of fun. You know, Donnie is always so entertaining. Dar has all the inside info, and of course, all sponsored by Good Vibration Motorsports, who, by the way, has a contingency deal for the March Meet. Even you and me, Diana-Mite, if we put their stickers on, we could win some money.
Money from Good Vibrations. Well, you know what? We love those people over there at Good Vibrations. The owner, super nice guy. Love talking to him.
Nice. And coming up in March, we'll talk to the Nostalgia AA Gassers. Plus, Alex the Car Girl Rogio will be live in studio to talk racing. And Cammie Edelbrock will be in studio to talk about the upcoming NMCA West race and much more.
Well, that's pretty cool. Haven't had Cammie here in a while.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see her. Now, April 18th is the next Match Race Madness race. And, hey, it looks like I got called out by another racer, another 66 Nova. He said he wants a piece of me.
A piece of you, huh? What piece? You can't have a piece of you, Lucky. That's what I get.
Well, you know, we're gonna see. We'll be down there racing.
Okay.
And I guess I'll give him a piece of my mind.
Yes,
Yeah,
you do that. You just get, well, boys and girls, we want to wish Bob Beck a happy birthday
Wait, what?
today.
Yeah.
Yes. It's also his 4-year anniversary here with us here at Speed Scene Live. So, Bob, congratulations.
Well, thanks. I made it another one. You know,
You did.
I'm not ready for retirement yet. Social Security is still a few years away, but I'm getting closer.
You?
I'm working on it.
Hey, well, I didn't know it was also your Speed Scene Live anniversary, though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Man, there's a lot going on. You know, in the using the words of a great poet, Bob. You know, I always like to go back to classic literature. I would like to quote, "It's your birthday, and you can cry if you want to. Cry if you want to. Cry if you want to."
But it makes my makeup run.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Was it? I don't know if Leslie Gore actually wrote that song or if she just sang it.
It may have been a story about one of the parties she went to.
It could be.
Okay,
Wait,
we
Leslie's
need to
a
get
girl?
back. We need to get back to cars, guys.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, Drag Illustrated. This is actually last month. So they just came out with the new month that has the 10 hottest women of drag racing in it.
Wow.
You'll see Brittany Force on the cover. Very pretty girl. She should smile a little more, though. You know, smile. Be happy.
Well, I don't know.
You're the daughter of John Force. Be happy. But anyway, Drag Illustrated magazine. Great magazine. Beautiful, high color, glossy pages. And, of course, the Curry Sportsman Spotlight. Every month in this magazine, you can read me talk about complete nonsense. But there's more good news, because I am now blogging on the Drag Illustrated
You're a blogger,
website.
Lucky?
I'm going to blog my butt off. And you
It's a 4-letter word. You're a blog.
Yes. So check out the website. Go to dragillustrated.com. Check out my blog, and you can go ahead and you can put comments on there. Ooh, that could get nasty. Go ahead, bring it on.
There you go, bring it on. Check out the blog. Check out that thunderous blog. Hey, what are we looking at here?
Well, we're talking about pistons, and, you know, I was commenting on the size of my rods, and,
Lucky.
you know...
Bob. Oh, my gosh, that's my job.
yes.
Don't take it away.
Well, you haven't said anything negative about him yet, so...
Well, I would never say
If
anything
I had
negative
a
about
nickel
Lucky.
for every time I got a compliment. Anyway, this is Diana-Mite's motor. Let's check in with Paul here.
So now we got lefts and rights. So we're going to figure out what rod we got, because they're all numbered. This one's number 1. So number 1 piston, we're going to be so we got a right and a left there. You get out more pistons. So as we're looking at the motor, we got number 1's going to go in like this, and it's going to be on the outside. So we know that's the number 1. So we're going to lube our pin up, pin bushing in our piston pin with some Schaefer's oil, and then we're going to. I use a lightweight oil for assembly. I don't use anything thick and sticky. I try to keep it clean. So this is our locking tab's going to go toward the dome where the spark plug's going to go. So, and that's pretty much it. And then we're going to get them all set up, and then we're going to put these clips in.
Right.
What I'll do is I'll do these 4, and then we'll do the 4 more. We're looking for number 5. There. 5. This number 5 is going to go in that hole, and the exhaust is going to be together, so we're good there. Once you put them in, you want to set them. And as soon as I get this one here in, we'll do that. So you're going to start these locks and kind of roll them in. Keep your finger over it, so if it decides to pop out on you, it's not running across the shop and being on the search for it.
But you like them better than the spirals.
And I like them a lot better than the spiral locks for 2 reasons. That they're when you figure out how to get them put in, they're a lot faster and easier to get in and out. A spiral lock can be a real bear to get out, and when you're having to freshen a motor or do any work, it's just a lot of ease and speeds up the time. But then once you set that lock in there, I take a couple of 3/8 extensions, and then I tap it in each direction to make sure that the clip is set and locked into the groove, just to make sure that it's in there good.
That way you know it's solid and it's not moving around.
Yep, you know it's not going to go anywhere. It might, if you don't see it fully in the groove, or you don't hear it snap in, setting it is it's either going to knock it out or knock it in, and you'd be better to have it pop out on the bit in the engine.
Yeah.
No.
You know,
would say so.
Diana-Mite, this is all the kind of stuff that's important when you're building a motor. You want everything to stay together. You want to make sure that you double check, you triple check your work. And then he takes the piston rings and he puts them on a stone to make sure there's no rough edges from when he had to file them, earlier. So he's really taking his time. He's making sure that everything's right. And we're going to show you more because we're going to show you putting the piston rings and putting them in the motor.
Well, I was a little worried after I saw him pounding them against the table, but then when he explained why he did that, it's a logical explanation.
And you don't want your stuff to come apart when it's in the motor,
right.
So you want to make sure it's in there right. And he really does like those type of locks better than the spiral locks. And he explained why. I know the audio was a little. Paul was talking and he was concentrating on what he was doing, but you can see really high quality connecting rods. The Racetech pistons, really nice pistons. And he's got, we showed you before, setting the ring gap, filing the rings. So we're going to continue on with that. But Bruce, hey, you know what, Bob?
What?
We never asked you what you're going to talk about tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
We didn't. Oh, my
Pete's
God. We just
sake.
got so caught up in the birthday. What are you going to talk about during your gas episode?
we are going to gas it up with Paul Martinez from Rodding USA. It's a special magazine devoted to hot rodding, and they have just done a pictorial about the 50th anniversary of the L.A. Roadster Car Club. They've been putting on a show for 50 years here in Southern California.
You know, Bob, I go to that show every year at Pomona, and it's just giant. It's huge. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's specifically for roadsters, but they do have non-roadsters. But the guys that come in with roadsters, they got all sorts of goodies that go to them. It is just one big, amazing event that you just have to go see. It's one of the biggest roadster shows in the country.
Man, that rocks. Hey, Bob, I must ask, while we were watching the piston install there, and I got a comment again because we did this last week. It's like, those are shorty skirts, for a racing motor. But anyway.
Oh, you're talking about the pistons?
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
But Bob, what was this Crowler motor you mentioned where there was dummy pistons in it?
Well, back in the day when fuel economy was really hot and everyone was trying to get more fuel economy, Bruce Crowler came out with what he called a Crowler motor. And it had pistons. The rods were still connected to a piston, but there was no rings. It was a dummy piston just floated up in and out of the cylinder. The cylinders that those were in, I think there were 2 of those that were set up like that, or possibly 4, kept the motor balanced, but the object was you had the torque of the V without the fuel consumption.
It's a bit like a Cadillac V8 6.4.
Yeah, except this never hit on the other cylinders. So whichever cylinder
That
had
is
the dummy
amazing.
pistons, those valves never opened because you didn't want compression and you didn't want fuel going in when you're not firing it.
I understand.
I've met people like those pistons. They just never
I
hit.
know.
They
They
never get fired.
fired.
No, we don't,
They were
yeah.
just kind of there,
Yeah,
but not.
Just coasting along. Hey, Bruce, let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Bridget Davis. We're going to talk to Paul Martinez. We got a lot of people to talk to. Stay tuned.
This is Kip McLean, rider number 316 at an Industry Speedway. You guys got to come out and check it out. Awesome facility, great racing, just a lot of fun. When I'm not racing Speedway, I'm watching Speed Scene Live.
At Aeromotive, we believe that performance means reliability, longevity, and durability. Being the best is no secret. By utilizing aerospace processes, procedures, technology, in-house engineering, true applications knowledge, and 3 generations of track experience, it's easy to see why we're the best. We take great pride in the fact that everything we sell, we design and make in the USA. See our entire line of fuel pumps and related products by logging on to aeromotiveinc.com. Aeromotive. We know it, we race it, we live it.
M&H Tires, makers of racing tires that give you best bite for the buck. You've paid a lot for that horsepower. Make sure you use it all. M&H Tires has the best compounds available for maximum traction. Go to mandhtires.com. That's mandhtires.com. Buy direct and save at the website and mention the Speed Scene for a 5% discount. That's right, mandhtires.com. call them at 661-324-4773. M&H Tires has tech guys ready to answer your questions or to recommend the best tire for you, slicks or DOT. M&H Tires has it all. M&H were the first to create racing tires for muscle cars and also the first to create racing tires for sport compact cars. Legendary M&H Tires. Shop online, mention the speed scene, and save 5%. Get the best racing tires, great personal, and save 5%. Go to mandhtires.com or call them at 661-324-4773. MNHTires.com.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live, the #1 online drag racing TV show. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFote.com.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, I'm Hot Rod Bob, birthday boy, here at Speed Scene Live, and we're coming back. We've got 3/4 of the show still to go, so stick around, don't leave. We've got Diana-Mite here with us today.
Oh, yeah.
As always, she's there with her flowered microphone.
I do.
Sitting
Thanks to Tom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sitting alongside her is Lucky Hudson.
By the way, Bob, I know it's
Yes.
your birthday, but
Yes.
under these clothes, I'm wearing my birthday suit.
Are you?
Yes.
I've got one, but it's not anywhere near as good as yours.
Well, yours is all wrinkled.
That's true, I know.
I have an iron.
Ouch! Ooh, baby.
I also have a tradition. I like to give birthday spankings.
Lucky, that's up to you. I'm sorry.
I just don't know if my hand can take that many swats.
Oh, man, Bob.
Okay, well, listen. Let's get this show back on track. You guys are
What track?
turning into 50 Shades of Gray and
50 Shades of
eggshell white.
Just
Yeah.
one. It's chrome.
I would like to take us all the way over to the East Coast, the
East Coast.
beautiful state of Florida. A lot of great racing out there, and I would like to welcome to the show a young lady that's been competing, also been writing for many publications. Diana-Mite, can you bring her on the show, please?
Absolutely. Let's go to line 1 and welcome Bridget Davis. Welcome to Speed Scene Live.
Hey, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight?
Great.
We're doing good. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on.
Well, you know, we're having a little fun tonight. Tonight's Bob's birthday. We're getting a little loose in here, but
it's all
we're
that
going to bring
cake.
it right back on track. Now, Bridget, you've got a lot going on. You're involved with racing, but primarily you're a writer. You're involved with contributing to several different publications. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your writing right now?
Sure, yeah. Right now I'm working for two great media publications. I work for Ford Racing Nation and also Power Auto Media, which we have about 8 online different magazine websites. Just about everything from racing to Stang TV, Chevy Hardcore. A lot of great magazines.
And, you know, what are you like a contributing writer, blogger, or what would your title?
I am a contributive writer. I basically, I write for the different venues, and I work out of Florida here. I just moved here about a year ago.
No, from where?
From Indiana.
That's a big move.
I love Indiana. Beautiful.
Yeah, but I
Beautiful.
bet you, Bridget, right now you're loving the fact that wherever you live, even if it's nighttime and it's 42 degrees, it's not 0.
Exactly. I'm definitely not missing the cold, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you're nowhere near snow, right?
No, far from it, fortunately.
You don't have to shovel sunshine.
Shovels.
No, absolutely not.
Well, now, Bridget, you've got involved in writing, but somewhat simultaneously, you also got involved with driving your Mustang race car and going to events and competing in the Mustang. How did that come about?
Well, I hail from Indianapolis, Indiana, the motorsports capital of the world. So that's where I grew up. I gained my passion for racing there. Spent a lot of summers and a lot of weekends hitting a lot of different events with my dad. And I had the opportunity about 2 years ago to finally enter the sport myself and take it from the spectator perspective to the driver's seat.
Nice. Yeah, Indiana, lots of people involved with racing. They say you're either a race car driver, a race car owner, or you help somebody with a race car.
That's absolutely right.
And one time I was out there with some friends, and he blew up the motor in his car in the burnout box at Indy. Ooh. And he said, "Oh man, I'm going home." You know, we were from California, and I said, Dan, think about where you are. We're in Indy. There's a motor here somewhere, and we got one.
And there's always someone to help you install it.
Yep. We ended up swapping motors in the Walmart parking lot and made the race. So, Indy's a place. Wonderful people that work the track. Fantastic place to be if you're a racer. Now, you're racing your car in the National Mustang Racing Association, the NMRA. Which class are you in?
Well, this will be my first full season. I'm going to be competing in Super Stang class.
Now, that's somewhat of a street type car, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good entry class to begin in. It's for a street car because that's basically, my car that I'll be racing is my daily. I actually drive the car to and from events, and it's also my grocery getter.
Oh, how about it?
Well, it looks great. What's it say on the front? I see the word fake.
Oh, it says you can't fake fast.
Okay. There you go. I like that.
That's a good one.
What have you done to the Mustang?
Well, right now I am just starting some modifications on it. I've got lower control arms, and I have a race tune I'm using. So I've got plans for it this next year to slowly power her up.
Now, eighth or quarter?
The quarter.
Okay.
Quarter.
Now, I got to ask you, because obviously your writing is very important to you, and all your writing is somewhat automotive based, so I got to think that driving the car really helps give you a really good perspective when it comes time to write.
It does. It absolutely does. Like I said, I always enjoyed racing, but I wanted to take it to the next level and actually, get behind the wheel, because as a writer, immersing yourself into, the racing, into the scene helps a lot, from my perspective.
I'm looking at Ford Racing Nation right now, and just near the top, see, they've got a big list of titles of articles that people have written, and one of yours is right near the top. It's very cool. You are prominently shown, because how many articles would you say you write in a month or a year?
Oh, goodness. I would say maybe in a week, 15 to 20.
Wow. Man, that's a lot of content. Wow, you're very prolific.
Yes, so you're actually giving me an opportunity to come out from behind the laptop and actually, have some conversation, which is nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, because when you write, it's just you and all the words are going out. This way you kind of get some words going back and forth for a change.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What do you do? Is there a dry spell? What do you do when you run out of content?
Well, she calls Speed Scene Live.
I write.
Now you go back and you can talk about how you were on this show and how all of our viewers are going to be able to go to that site and read all your articles.
There you go.
That's right. Exactly. If I'm not writing, I'm racing.
There you go.
Now, Bruce, do you have some pictures of Bridget there? Because I'm sure people would like to see what you look like, and also they see your car, but they would like to be able to maybe spot you the next time you're at a track and say hello and maybe get a chance to talk to you. So let's see. I think there's a couple shots in there somewhere. There you go.
There we go. Oh, man.
Well, I absolutely invite everybody out to come to the NMRA this year. It's a 6 Series race. The first one actually is next weekend in Bradenton, so we're definitely excited for that. And I really am happy to be on your show, to come out, because I want to definitely support the sport of drag racing. It's a great family venue for all ages. It's just a great sport to get into.
Now, I see that some of the shots there look like you were at Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is one of my favorite tracks. And how far away is that from Florida? Is that just a one-day trip?
Yeah, it's about maybe 13 hours, 15 at the most. It depends on how much I stop.
It's a great track. I race there every summer for the Hot Rod Reunion, and I plan on being there this fall for the Good Guys race that will be going on there. So I've always loved that track. It's such nice people running it.
Right, but you're in Dearborn in the front of the Ford building, aren't you?
Yeah, we're looking at a picture here, the Ford head background, you and a bunch of other Mustangs parked here. What event was that?
That was in August. That was part of the 50th celebration. It was for an event called Mustang Memories that the local Mustang Club up there put on. And it was basically a week-long event. We went up there, like going home to the Mecca, and had a Mustang Fest.
Nice.
Now, what year is your Mustang?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Bridget, if where do you hope that the writing will take you in the future?
Well, if the writing provides me a great venue just to enjoy my passion, I hope to continue moving, forward into the media scene with it, and it helps to obviously support my passion for racing, because we all know that's an expensive sport. So,
Yeah.
but like I said, I just hope that it continues to grow, and I can continue to move forward with the racing.
Would you ever be interested in maybe becoming a editor?
Oh, sure, absolutely, absolutely, I would love that.
Well, before I say goodbye, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our next guest in, who is a very famous editor. This is Paul Martinez. And Diana-Mite, why don't you bring him on and I'll introduce him to Bridget.
Sure, Paul, are you there on the line with us?
I'm here.
Great. Have you been listening to our conversation with Bridget, right?
I have been listening to it,
That'll
yes.
be a test later.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Well, Bridget, I just wanted you to meet Paul. And Bob, tell Bridget a little bit about some of Paul's credentials.
Well, I got to meet Paul a bunch of decades ago when we think about it. He was working for Street Rodder, or just had left Street Rodder magazine, part of the McMullen Yee group, and had gone to Peterson at the time. Paul's got a 1934 Ford that has been in just about every hot rodding magazine around and has been involved in not only writing the stories, but as the key photographer for many cover shots and his own PM photographic at one point in time. Now you're at the helm of Rodding USA.
Yes, I am. And first off, Bob, happy birthday. We have been friends for many years, so happy birthday.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, Paul,
Yes.
Paul, we appreciate you coming on the show, but let me say
thank
goodbye
you.
to Bridget, and then we'll give you our undivided attention. Bridget, thank you so much for calling in to Speed Scene Live.
Thank you. Have a great night and take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
And happy birthday, Bob.
Thanks, Bridget.
All right.
Paul, thank you. I just kind of wanted, she's an up-and-coming writer, and I thought that it would be nice for her to be able to meet one of the more well-known writers in the industry.
Well, thank you. And if she thinks she's working hard now, when she becomes the editor,
forget about it, right?
Don't even think about sleeping.
You can do that in between commercials or ad sales. So how you doing, Paul? We haven't talked in a long time. I saw you at the LA Roadster Show this last June, Father's Day weekend, and you put together a magazine or a book on the 50th anniversary of the LA Roadster Show.
Yes, we did a special publication. Rodding USA is a bi-monthly magazine, but we did a special publication on the 50th anniversary of the LA Roadster Show, a pictorial book, and it's 116 pages, and full color, glossy paper, and just covering the huge event that the LA Roadsters put on in Pomona this past June. And also, we looked into the history of the event, and we even covered a few road tours that came from different parts of the country to the LA Roadster Show.
Yeah, and that was interesting to me, too. When I read your book, I didn't realize there were whole groups of people that made a pilgrimage out to the LA Roadster Show every year. I know people came from all over the world, but I didn't think of special cruises coming out. And there was, what, four or so of them?
Four that we covered. One was from Brookville, Ohio, from Brookville Roadsters. Came from St. Paul, Minnesota. Another from San Antonio. And these guys drove their hot rods all across the country and in June, so not the warmest or the coolest weather.
Oh, no.
But die-hard hot rodders.
Especially in roadsters. I mean, that's sunburn-type driving.
Oh,
but
yeah.
They did it.
Especially when they hit Arizona and Nevada.
Oh, yeah. Coming up the southern route, that has got to be tough. Now, you've been with Rodding USA since its startup.
Yes, I got a phone call in late 2012 from the publisher of a magazine called Hot Rod New Zealand, Paul Grace. Mm-hmm. And I had been doing freelance work for Paul for a few years, and he called up one day and started talking about the possibility of doing a new hot rod magazine in the U.S.
Okay.
And so we looked into it, we did our research, and we decided that there was a place in the market for a new magazine. And so we launched Rodding USA in March of 2013.
Okay.
So we're a bi-monthly magazine, and tomorrow issue 13 goes to the printer. So we're starting our third year of publication now.
Oh, that's great. Now, it is a glossy magazine throughout. It's something you can put on your coffee table without worrying about it and have people thumb through it. It's available on the newsstands, as is the new pictorial on the 50th anniversary of the LA Roadster Show. That hit the stands, what, about a month ago?
Yes, a couple of months back, the LA Roadster Show book hit the newsstand, and we're actually we have a dealer network set up throughout the country. A lot of rod shops, automotive bookstores, that type of business is selling our magazines. And of course, you can go to our website, roddingusa.com, and order directly from there.
Okay, and you keep producing this magazine. You're doing good. Now we'll go into some of the history. Like we talked, when I met you, you had just left Street Rodder magazine, the McGee at that point in time.
Yes, I worked at Street Rodder magazine for Tom McMullen and Ken Yee, 81, 82, excuse me, 83, and then I went over to Peterson Publishing and worked there for a few years. And I've been in the automotive publishing business ever since. But this is the first time at the seat as the editor of a magazine.
Which is a huge leap. I mean, you were doing freelance for a long time. You had your own photographic studio in Tucson.
Yes, I did a lot of commercial photography, and now being the editor of the magazine, it's a great place to be because I get to decide what goes in our magazine, and so far the readers have loved our book.
Paul, do you have any worries the fact that you guys are publishing a really slick, good-looking publication when a lot of companies are moving over to the digital side to try to, save money or whatever the reason might be? Because magazine publishing is not only expensive, but you got to have subscribers. But it's working for you. That's pretty cool.
A lot of people probably thought we were losing it to start a print magazine in the digital age, as everybody calls it. But what we find is as soon as people hold Rodding USA in their hand, they fall in love with the magazine. Because, like Bob said, it's on a heavyweight paper, glossy cover, it's 116 pages. The size of the book is the old news or old publication size of 8.5 by 11. And like I say, people just love our book, and you're right, other publications are going by the wayside, and ours is going the opposite direction. We're heading straight up.
Nice.
Paul, I got to ask you, because for people that are watching our show that have never been to the Roadster Show, I go every year, and it's just phenomenal. It's acres and acres and acres. And how do you pick out, how do you narrow it down? Because you could obviously publish a phone book, great content from these events, and how do you narrow it down? How do you filter it?
Well, it was interesting because the LA Roadster pictorial came about from the year prior. I was working on my story from the LA Roadster show, and I was talking to the publisher, Paul Grace, and I mentioned to him that I was having issues with this story. And he sounded puzzled when I said that, and he says, "What do you mean?" And I said, I've got tons of great pictures, and I have 13 pages to run them in. I said, I could do a whole book with just what I shot at the LA Roadster show. And he mentioned that in New Zealand they were doing a special publication for a big car event there. And he said, why don't we do one on the LA Roadster show? Then you'll have 116 pages to work with.
There you go.
And we talked to the LA Roadster Club, and great bunch of guys and ladies from the LA Roadsters, and they loved the idea, so the plan went forward, and we published our book.
Yeah, and one of the things that people might not know is the LA Roadsters started out at the Hollywood Bowl was their first location.
You're kidding.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they had to move because LA City decided you can't have a swap meet within LA City boundaries. And that's when they started looking and searching for a place. And I remember the first time I went, it was at the Great Western Auditorium that was off the 5 freeway over by where the Citadel is now. And then that got torn down. They had to find a new location. And how long ago do you remember how long ago they had to move to Pomona? And that's just where it just blew up as a show.
Off the top of my head, I think it's been 20-plus years that they've been in Pomona.
Yeah, I can't remember them. Other than the Golden West area, they've been there so long. It's a swap meet. It's a car show. It's now, because of the reconfiguration of the fairgrounds, it's an indoor and out.
Exactly, and yes, and we've been going to the show since we started publication, and we always have a vending space there and sell our magazines there, and it's just a great event.
Yeah, it is. It's something that you need to go to.
I've told people around the country that if you had one car show to go to and you're a hot rodder, go to the LA Roadster show.
The LA Roadster show's been. All right, so what's new and exciting coming from Rodding USA?
Well, we're a traditional hot rod magazine. We cover cars from Model A's to the late 50s, early 60s, but geared more towards the traditional hot rods, 32, 34 Fords. And I just pick out cars around the country that are just great-looking hot rods.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures. You don't look for the billet. You're not looking for the high-tech. You're looking for aesthetically pleasing and, some cases, really authentic hot rods.
Yes, exactly. And people ask how I pick my cars here in the book, and it just has to catch my eye.
I'm looking at it right now at the Pete and Jake cars.
Oh,
and
yes.
you know, the California Kid car is really iconic, and Jake's Chop 34 coupe, and then you've got a 34 coupe, and you've had that as long as I can remember. That was one of your first cars. When I met you, you still had your 3 first cars.
Yes, exactly. I'm down to my one first car now, which is the 34. I've only had it since 1975 when I was a freshman in college at the University of Arizona. I saw American Graffiti, fell in love with that little yellow hot rod, and from watching that movie, I became a photographer and got into the automotive publishing business, and here we are.
Well, that's amazing, Paul. This is Bruce. I still have my first car that I bought in 1975 as well, but it's not a 34 Ford, but still, I'm partway there.
Yeah. That's great. There's a few of us like that, and then you have other people that say, gee, I wished I had kept all those cars I had. You and I, Bruce, we've kept them.
Yeah.
And actually, my granddaughter's laid claim to my hot rod now, so my 10-year-old granddaughter, Daniela, is now the new owner of the hot rod. Well, when she turns 16, anyways.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, Paula, being a car guy myself, you know, and I work on cars, I wrench on cars, I do a lot of work on cars, and I've had people that don't know anything about cars that'll ask me, what's the hardest thing about having all these cars? And I say parking spaces.
Yeah. Exactly, and I'm sure in Southern California you're absolutely right.
It's a premium here. Yes, absolutely. We have to keep purchasing buildings to put them in.
Yes. Paul, how about plugging your website again, and where can people go to purchase the book?
Like I said, we have a dealer network. If you look on the website, find all our dealers across the country and in other countries also. We sell it in New Zealand, Europe, Canada, and Australia. Our website is www.roddingusa.com. And if anybody ever has questions, you can email me at paulm@roddingusa.com.
And the next Roadster show will be Father's Day, but if anybody out there is listening to this that has a dad that's into cars, I think this book would make an excellent Father's Day present, and you have plenty of time to purchase the book and get it delivered so you'll have it in your hands.
Exactly, and they're available on the website. They're $12 plus shipping.
Oh, a mere pittance.
Exactly.
Nice.
And then the new issue of Rodding USA will come out in 2 weeks. It goes to the printer tomorrow morning. We're printed in Phoenix, so we're printed in the U.S.
Good.
And we have a nice 2-week turnaround time rather than 3 months when I used to work at Big Book.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, very good. See, print is, the technology is keeping all this stuff going.
There you have it.
Exactly.
Paul, thank you so much.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Paul.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your show. It was wonderful.
Thanks for being here, and we're still trying to find that picture I have of your coupe up here.
Oh,
I know it's here someplace.
Somewhere in there. We'll find it.
We'll find it.
Okay, that sounds good. Or you can have me on the show again sometime, and I'll make sure you have pictures of the hot rod.
We can do that again.
Okay.
Perfect.
Take care, Paul.
Well, it was nice meeting all of you. Have a good night.
Take care.
Paul.
Thank you.
Say hello to
Bye-bye.
Melina for.
Bruce, let's go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going back to Paul Williams Specialties. We're going to do some more updates. We've got what's going on, and we've got that hamburger oil pan installed to show.
Oh, nice.
I'm
it's all
hungry
coming
now.
up. Speed Scene Live. It's dinner time.
Yeah.
For over half
half a century, Curry rear-end components have been twisting out the torque and taking the punishment. And the new Curry lineup is stronger than ever. Some of the world's most capable, hardest-working vehicles depend on Curry gears, which is why you can too. Street cars, hot rods and resto rods, drag cars, rock-crawling four-wheel drive vehicles, whatever you're piloting, Curry expertise and rock-solid design means the parts will do their job, so you can do yours. Check out Curry's custom rear ends, featuring a full line of upgrades, components, and installation options. The Curry Crate rear ends lineup offers ultra-strong construction on third members and carrier assemblies. And other underside parts, like correct link steering systems, keep your four-wheeler pointed where you want it. Add in a wide variety of solid, purpose-built suspension and brake components, and you've got one tough, ready-to-go machine. Grab a hold of a Curry rear end. Talk to the experts at 714-367-2679 or view the complete line at curryenterprises.com. Everyone in the armed forces that has served to defend our great country and our freedom, all of us here in the United States of America would like to offer our sincere appreciation for all that you do and all that you've done. To every family that has made a sacrifice for us, we thank you.
60 years. That's a long time for a company to do any one thing. Doing it right while sticking to your founding values. Now that takes hard work and dedication. For 60 years, Hedman's all-American workforce has been devoted to manufacturing the very best headers any team of craftsmen can build. That's 60 years of cutting, 60 years of bending, 60 years of welding, more than 2 million in all, and every set made right here at home. At Hedman Headers, we build all-American horsepower, then back it up for life. Hedman Headers, made in the USA.
This is Ray Iddings, the producer of Wanted Dog, exclusively on BAF TV. You're watching Speed Scene Live.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live, the #1 online drag racing TV show. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFoat.com.
Welcome back to the show, Speed Scene Live. Whoa! Boy, that car got a little squirrely
We
there.
got some great new footage here. It's rocking.
man.
You know, with the opener and all this intermittent photo.
That's okay. It'll be a word later. Don't worry about it.
Oh, look at all hand dragsters there.
Oh man! Hey, we've been talking all year. It seems like about this 406 project motor that we built for Diana-Mite's Nova.
And March Meet is what? 2 weeks away?
2 weeks away. The car will be there. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
And we're going to film the car going down the track. You're going to see what kind of performance. Paul Williams from Paul Williams Specialties, located in Bakersfield, California.
I bet you race.
He'll be there.
Yeah.
And he's been he worked on this motor for a long time during the off season, gave it to us, we put it in, and we've shaken down a little bit, but we're going to make some good runs out at Bakersfield.
Are you going to be in that car with me?
I'm going to be next to you with a camera.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is the hamburger oil pan, and let me tell you about some of the qualities, because an oil pan is very important to a race motor. Let's find out what's good about this pan. Hey, this is the hamburger oil pan that we're going to use on Diana-Mite's Project 406, built by Paul Williams Specialties right here in Bakersfield, California. You can check them out online at pwspecialties.com. This oil pan is great. It has a built-in windage tray. It has a trap door built in. Great oil control. This is really a fantastic product, and it's going to really help this motor work really well in Diana-Mite's 66 Chevy Nova. Hamburger oil pans. When you need an oil pan for your street, strip, or full race application, Hamburger Oil Pans has something just for you. Whole line of all different types for all different types of motors. It's a nice pan. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but there's a couple of trap doors down here that help with the oil control. And of course you can see the diamond windage tray is full as well as the solid tray. Welded in, high quality construction, really nice. Also has this scraper right here that helps with oil control. Everything you need built in. Now Paul's going to go ahead and install the pan, and you know, this pan goes on like any other pan. The oil pump pickup comes with the pan. And
it's pretty.
Actually should have filmed one other thing. If you look on the end, you'll see a little 90-degree piece there. When I first pulled it out of the box, I thought, what the heck is this for? It's so you can hammer the pickup into the oil pump without actually hitting the pickup.
Oh.
So they actually put a place on there for you to press or hammer or whatever you use to insert it, and then it's actually bolted on. So the old days of putting in an oil pump pickup and having to weld it so it doesn't fall out, forget about it. This one bolts on, 2 bolts, nice L bracket, well constructed, and you notice Paul had his tape measure out. He is measuring the depth of the pan, the depth of the pickup. You want to make sure you get enough room for the oil. You don't want too little. You don't want too much. You want it just right. And so we went ahead and we used just a regular Melling oil pump. I personally prefer to use just a standard oil pump. I don't really like to use volume. I just think it works better. I think a standard pump works better for a race application. And so he sets it all up. Regular gaskets. You don't have to use special gaskets or what's that word?
Proprietary?
That. You don't need those. These use regular gaskets.
That'll be a word someday too, Lucky.
Yeah. And Paul puts a little silicone on, you know, just like we all do. And part of it is to seal, and part of it is to just kind of lubricate the rubber seal so that when you put the pan on, you know, it doesn't hang up or grab or anything like that. And worked great. We didn't have any leaks. You know, we've ran the motor, doesn't leak a drop. So the pan works great. I believe it also has one of those little magnetic oil
drain plugs.
Drain plugs. So every time you drain the oil, you can look at your plug and you can see if there's any debris. It can catch it if there happens to be any metal part.
So you're saying that the Hamburger oil pan came with that pickup?
Came with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all part of a system, and it actually comes with the set of gaskets as well.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, it's made of nice thick steel, and you can see where they actually, even though the pan is bolted or welded, the tray's welded, they do bolt some of the windage tray and the scraper, that type of stuff in. You got 2 different types of windage trays. You got the solid across the bottom. You've got the directional diamond steel on the side so that it allows oil to go through, but it makes it hard for the oil to go back up.
Isn't it funny? Oil pans have gotten very much thinner over the years, and you look at something like this, it's kind of like an old school oil pan where you can, not that you want to all the time, you can set the motor on that thing. It's so strong.
Yeah, it's nice thick metal. You know, it's built for a off-road application, as they say in the industry, meaning it's made for racing, and whether you're road or strip or what, you know, street pan. And this, we decided not to go with the full length. Hamburger offers hundreds of different pans. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, any type of, all different types of motors. And we, you'll notice it's a little upside down there, but that's because the motor hasn't been turned over yet.
Oh, okay.
We did not go with the full length because Diana-Mite has a cross member in her TCI front end. We went with the regular, you know, rear sump, which is fine. And plenty of oil control.
And it's very pretty. That's one of the main objectives that I had.
Of course.
To make it very pretty.
Of course.
Red. They painted it red, special to match my car. Right, Lucky? Is that what they did?
That's right. They paint all the oil pans
to match
Diana-Mite's car. Now, we showed you some pistons earlier, and, you know, a piston is a very time-consuming process. You know, you have to measure everything.
You mean it doesn't just all come together like that?
No,
No, I mean you just don't pull it out of the box and you got like, you know, the rods and all that all just put together and the rings are on there and bada boom, bada bing.
You know, we spend an hour or so making sure the gap is correct on the rings and filing the rings. We spend time making sure that the depth on the piston is correct. You know, it has to be the rod. The piston wrist pin has to be put in. Well, let's let Paul tell us a little bit here.
And we should do the same process that we did on using a stretch gauge, because if you're if the head of the bolt and the friction is more on one bolt than the other, you're going to have one bolt under torqued, even though the torque wrench is reading correctly. Go outside. Go outside. This is 7/16 bolt, 8740, and they torque the same as the mains. They're 65 foot-pounds.
Even though the mains is a lot bigger bolt?
It's actually the same size bolt.
Huh. Oh, they are the same size?
Same size bolt.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. The same size bolt in the rods as the mains.
I did not either.
I guess the aftermarket rods, you know, bigger bolts.
Stronger.
Stock is a 3/8 bolt on connecting rods, and most of these aftermarket rods have gone up to a 7/16 bolt.
And actually, I remember when I built motors that the bolts would be poking out when you put the rods in, so you had to put a little rubber hose so that it didn't scratch the crankshaft.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not an issue with the race rods because they go through the other direction.
Yeah, nice.
You can't just grind those puppies off.
Well, you kind of need them later to, you know, hold them all together. Now, what he's doing now is he's miking the crankshaft journal. He's miking the inside of the piston rod with the bearing installed, so that, you know, even though everything's been checked, even though the math's all been worked out, he is double checking, triple checking, making sure that the clearance is correct. So he gets the size of the crankshaft journal, he inserts the bearing, torques the connecting rod, checks the inside, determines what the difference is, how much clearance. I think he was looking for 3 or 3.5 thousandths clearance.
Well, like it sounds like you really learned quite him.
Well, you know, I did learn because
good education because you were there, kind of going through all the steps with him.
A little bigger on the outside.
Does anybody use, you know, with the micrometer action here, does anybody use plastic gauge anymore for clearance?
Actually, nobody uses plastic gauge. Well, you can for like a stock motor.
Yeah.
But for a race motor, because plastic gauge can be deceiving sometimes.
Yeah, I had issues, you know, sometimes in tight spots where you inadvertently wreck the thickness of the stuff, and yeah, you can screw up the job pretty easy.
For assembly.
Now here he is. He's putting the Schaefer's oil, which is like an STP type product. It helps with the viscosity. Now it looks like we're going to show you putting the pistons in. No way, baby. You got to come back next week, because next week we're going to show the pistons going in.
You are such a tease.
We're going to show you how he puts them in, works them, assembles them. The final assembly on those pistons and rods will be next week on Speed Scene Live TV. So come on back. We'll show you more. Actually, it'll be in a couple weeks, because next week will be Donnie and Dar.
Donnie going to be doing the March Meet Madness. What should we name the show? March Meet Madness with Donnie and Dar?
I don't know what to name it. You know, it's hide your daughters and get your bail money ready.
Yeah, people have named Donnie and Dar a lot of different things.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I got a quick snapshot here before we continue. Alaska Raceway Park looks like this. I know it's the winter time,
Yeah.
But this is my buddy Bob Lee in the Dodge, or what they call now the Ram truck.
Nice.
It doesn't look like that today, does it?
You know what? This was shot 3 weeks ago.
Only 3 weeks ago. Wow.
So no snow?
Yeah, very odd. They're having a bit of a warm winter, I think.
impressed.
Although I think it has changed now. But he was real proud to be able to say, it's so they cars, of course, for bracket racing. He was proud to be able to pull ahead of this Camaro in this street-driven pickup. So
You mean the pickup beat the Camaro?
Yeah. Now, I've got some time slips here. I don't know.
Were they four-wheeling or what?
Yeah.
Did you go back to that Camaro? I mean, that's a pretty badass Camaro.
I mean, yeah, look at the scoops thing and the carburetors. And is that a diesel Ram truck?
I don't believe so. I think it's a gas
they're in
truck.
staging lane right here. They haven't went down the track yet.
He beat into the head of staging.
Yes.
Well, maybe he got a better light.
Yeah, he could be. And, just a quick look there at Alaska Raceway Park in the middle of winter. So I don't know what's going on.
Now, what part of Alaska does not have snow?
It is the central part, sort of near Anchorage. It's just outside of Anchorage. But you know what? That happens, I guess, even in the coldest of climates. Occasionally, it's just like you get a warm period and everything melts and whatever.
You get a month of decent weather, and
and so they're just saying, "Hey, let's go drag racing."
Is that just to heat up the tires? I mean, as cold as even on a clear day, it's below freezing up there almost.
Well, that truck wouldn't have any problem getting traction, but I think that Camaro might have a little problem.
Maybe that's what happened then.
Well, next week we're going to install the Race Tech pistons. We're going to show you more. Or in 2 weeks, and we're probably going to show you video of Diana-Mite going down the track.
Probably.
And then we're going to zoom in and we're going to see the time on the what do you call those things with the lights? Scoreboards. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I had to go to a professional drag race announcer. But first, Bruce, let's do what's going on because, well, we got some stuff going on.
We do. And what's going on? Well, it's brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive, and M&H Tires.
And, we want to remind everybody that we will be at the March meet. Come on by and see us in the Curry Rear End Hedman Hustler Headers booth. Say hello, pick up a Speed Scene Live sticker, and cheer us on while we're racing.
Yeah, and I'll be wandering around there as well. I'll be in the AAA booth or up in the tower. But until then, a lot of car shows going on. I'll be down at Buena Park this Friday night. There's Irwindale on Thursday night. Always come on out.
And MCA West, come out with their 2015 schedule. It's going to be starting March 25th through the 29th at the Auto Club Raceway, Fontana.
Also, Mopar's at the Strip, the 27th through the 29th at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
And April 17th through the 19th, it's the NRUS season opener at famous Famoso Raceway.
And
April 18th is the next Match Race Madness down in Verona. Lucky, are you going to be there?
I am. I'm racing a gentleman, I think his name is Rick, with a black 66 Chevy Nova. It's Nova versus Nova.
Yeah, he called you out. Snap, snap.
He said he wants to take me on.
He wants a piece of you.
He wants to beat the Curry Nova.
Which one's going to be the Bossa Nova?
The Bossa.
I don't know, but I know there will be a Nova in the winner's circle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
Hey, Bob, you ever been to Eagle Field?
I haven't, and I've got to get up there to Rocky's race.
It's May 15th through the 17th, Eagle Field. It's a 3-day event this time.
Wow.
You can go back in time and watch flags start drag racing and hay bales for, guardrails and see a bunch of people that used to race in the old days and no longer race, but they're out there supporting it and thinking about the old days.
They're reckoning there, yeah.
You making a new word up?
I reckon.
One of the races I missed that I wanted to see up there was the Unsprung Snyder racing Stormy Bird. And it was a flathead up against his dragster. Stormy's is a real nostalgic dragster built in the early 60s.
Now, Stormy is not driving his dragster this year. He is giving up the driver's seat to Randy Winkle. So the car will be there, Stormy will be there, but he'll be standing on the side. Ooh, I bet that'll be weird, huh?
Yeah. It's going to be strange for him to watch his car go down the track.
Well, we're at the top of the hour right now. We want to thank everybody for joining us. We'll have Donnie and Dar here next Tuesday, and then we'll be out at the What?
March
Meet. And we'll come back. We'll let you guys know how that 406 ran in my car. We'll give you detailed information.
And I would like to mention before we go the Dynatones. That's right. We got a chance to film them out at Irwindale. If you ever get a chance to see these guys, fantastic instrumental music, 60s surf style music. You know, if there's ever a band that's captured the feeling of drag racing, it's the Dynatones.
Rockin'.
Yeah. Udai's event that we had just this last December.
That's right. I've been trying to show those guys for months and months, and we keep running out of time, mainly because Diana-Mite always has all these personal stories that she has to.
I think so, Lucky. Blah, blah, blah. Take it away, Bruce.
Oh, that's funny. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. The Donnie and Dar show next week. And, of course, Alex the Car Girl coming up in March. All right, here's the deal for now. We've got the encore presentation of tonight's show coming up next. Want to thank you all, every single one of you, which is like, well, I hope there's just one of you, but you know what I'm saying. Because if there's another one of you, then we got to worry about that whole twin thing, and I don't know. Anyway, well, join us next week right here.
Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online motorsports TV show. Brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and thefolk.com.